Hey, good morning, guys. It is actually about 4:30 in the morning, and I'm one of about 10 people who I think is awake on this Carnival Pride ship. And so I thought it would be a good time to kind of show you around the ship where there's not a lot of people. I gave you a little bit of my first impressions yesterday, but I've had a chance to, well, sort of sleep on it. I'm not getting a lot of sleep. It's a little disturbing, and I'm trying to keep the boozing to a minimum. One, because, I can't drink that much, and when I do, it has to be like basically straight liquor, because that's the only thing that really fits in with my carnivore lifestyle that I'm doing right now. However, I do like my champagne, so I've had a little bit of that, and I like a glass of wine with dinner, but those are actually not a lot of carbs. If you're gonna drink, it's not that bad, but it's not zero carb. And then also, drinking disrupts my sleep and also my digestion. So I try not to do too much of it. And also, this is freaking 12-day cruise. I cannot booze for 12 days. Like, I have to keep it under control. And our excursion today is a 2.5-hour bicycle tour around Dublin, Ireland. I'm so excited to be going here. It's I wouldn't say that it's a place that's been on my bucket list, but it's definitely one of those places that would be like, hey, you want to go to Dublin? Yeah, of course. So I'm excited to go. I'm excited to be here. I do enjoy cities when I'm traveling, but I also find that I like to get out of the cities into the countryside, into the small villages. I really think that's when you get out of the city, that's really where the charm of any place is, any country. You really kind of get a more local feel and not so much of the hustle and bustle, but the cities are beautiful too, so it'll be nice. So let me talk about this ship before I show you around. My first impression that I shared with you is it's dated, it's older, but as I'm on this ship, I'm actually finding a little bit of charm to it. Things I didn't really expect. One of the things that strikes me as really odd is it's almost like a ship of tunnels and passageways. It's very bizarre. All the other ships that I've been on, the pathways that you go through are very straightforward. They curve or they turn, but there's a clear path. And there's so many places, and I'll try to film a little bit of them, where there's just sort of these weird little skinny hallways and things that you sort of go through, sometimes for a long way before you pop out into something else. And even the bathrooms, I had one where you go into the bathroom. Well, first you go into the hallway that has the 3 doors, the women's, the men's, and then the family wheelchair one right in the middle. So you've got to turn to go into the bathroom, and then you turn again and there's sinks, and you turn again, and then you turn again, and then again before you get to the toilets. And it's so weird. There must be a reason why they have you going around 3 different walls. It's probably due to the structure of the ship, but it's just bizarre. And it's something I haven't experienced on any other ship, but it's definitely here. But it's okay. It's just a little quirk. It's kind of becoming a little bit charming. So this is the Alchemy bar that I'm sitting in. The bar is over that way. There's a couple of lovely singers that they always sort of have here, and this is a gathering place for a lot of people, because if you go that way and straight through the hallway where the elevators are, you go into the Normandy restaurant. And it's nice. You can see they've updated some furnishings, they've updated some carpet, the tiles still seems to be the original, so it's sort of a mix of renovated and not so renovated. But it's okay, right? This is one of those. This kind of, to me, is like our cruise to Alaska. The cabins and the main areas became less important because it was really more about the places that you were visiting. So for me, that makes that stuff kind of, not so not matter so much. There's one dude running around the casino last night. He is apparently on deck 1 in an ocean view room, and he's really trying to get into a balcony. So he was running around trying to find somebody who would take his $1,000 to swap rooms with him. And I kind of thought about it. And I might have, if this wasn't going to be such a long cruise. And I'm not sure I want to give up my balcony. It is moist out there. It's Ireland. So it's really only going to get up to about 70 degrees today, and it's 85% humidity. So for my fellow Floridians, you know that makes 70 degrees feel a little colder than it actually is. But that's still not that cold. You know, we're going to be fine. The shops, I'll show you that when I get down there. It's definitely not, most of the ships that you go on are the Caribbean, and so they're full of bathing suits and sunglasses and beach crap. And it's a little different here. They're full of jackets and windbreakers for all the people who don't know that it's cold in the summer in the UK and Ireland. I guess they get a little bit upset about that, so we'll include them separately. Okay, so the ship. So yeah, I mean, there's some parts of it that are old and run down, but not that bad. I mean, they've really done a good job to try to keep up with it. So I'm pretty pleased with it, and everybody's been super friendly. We did fuss at the cabin guy because honestly, our room was, I wouldn't say it was completely disgusting, but it's a little bit gross when you go in there and like the surface just doesn't feel smooth because they haven't cleaned it. And I don't think it's unreasonable to think that that is unacceptable. So I spoke with him and said, listen, I'm not going to complain to guest services because, I mean, that's why you have a cabin steward. But I did address the issue with him, and he came in and cleaned, and so I'm satisfied with that. But a lot of people were complaining about that. There was a lot of people in the casino just talking to folks around the tables, and they were kind of saying the same thing, that they thought the level of cleanliness in the cabins was not that great. But feedback is a gift, right? So when we do get our survey, I'll just put that in there, you know, that they probably need to pay a little bit more attention. I mean, just for cleanliness, right? I mean, we're on a cruise ship, and if you're going to catch germs, this is where you're going to do it. So why not clean, right? But it was okay. And they came in, fixed our air conditioning, and it's working beautifully now. So the folks on the cruise, I mentioned before that it was a lot of Americans, and it is. But there's a nice mixture too. There's a lot of people from other places as well. But I'm going to be honest with you guys. It's a little bit of a geezer cruise, and that might be because it's a 12-day cruise, so you have a lot of retirees on here. Now, I mean, it's not all wheelchairs and walkers. It's not like a handy cruise, but it's, there's a lot of older folks on here, but they're having a good time. We're all having a good time together. And Miles actually, the teenagers that are on board that he's hanging out with, there's a handful of them, and they seem to be having a good time together. It's not such a large group because I think we are sort of getting into, you know, the time where it's school's starting and everything. So there's just a handful of them here, but he's having a good time. He comes back every day, you know, telling me about what they talked about and what they did, and just all the stories. It's definitely a cultural experience for him. There's a lot of Brits and a few people from other places, and they're having fun kind of exchanging stories and just differences and stuff. And so I think it's been a really good experience for him. But yeah, I wasn't quite expecting there to be quite as many older people on board. So like I said, that's fine, but as a result, there's a few things that are different. So for one thing, the nightclub is completely dead at night, totally different than the Jacksonville cruise where, I mean, they just party all night. There's basically nobody in the nightclub because there's very few people here that are in their 20s or even early 30s who would do the nightclub kind of thing. I mean, the geezers just dance right over here, you know, where the ladies singing and the guitar people are, and, you know, all that kind of stuff. And they do their, you know, their little maneuvers. because they have all the real dance moves, right? So there's nobody in the nightclub. It's pretty dead. They have the cute little queue with the red carpet, but it's always empty. It's all right. You know, it's fun. And the pizza place closes down. Like normally that is open all night, but I guess the fogies don't eat a lot of pizza at night, so there's not really any reason for them to stay open. You can still order it. You can still order it on your app. You just have to pay for it. I mean, the prices are fairly reasonable, but you know, I also kind of feel like if they're not going to have the pizza open all night, they should have charged for it, but whatever. You know, in the grand scheme of things, it's $6, so what? And yeah, even though we sailed from the US, sailed from Dover, England, the currency on board is USD. So I guess it's just a ship-wide thing. I think in Australia they do use Australian dollars, and that may be just because the dollar symbol is still the same, and so they can kind of easily convert it without having to do any funky stuff. But all the chips, everything, you know, here is USD. So I saw a few folks on board trying to exchange their British pounds, and they don't really even have a way to do it. Maybe they do at guest services, I don't know, but you know, it wasn't really a thing for me, so I didn't care. So sorry, I didn't mean to talk that much, but I wanted to just kind of share my opinions and my thoughts after being on the ship for a couple days. And now I'm going to show you around a few places that are on the ship that I think you might enjoy. So here we go. Okay, so right behind my chair, this is the Alchemy Bar, and this is just a really fun place. That's where they have a great little singer. She sings back there, and then later in the evening, there's a chick in her evening gown with a guitar, and she sings there. And this is the back of the chair I was just sitting in a minute ago. So right over here, this is the little place I told you about where they have the red carpet that they put right out here, and this is the nightclub. So we're gonna go in here and just kind of take a look. So you can see it's a pretty little place. Seems like it's well designed with lots of seating and a good dance floor, and they've got the whole bar back here. However, as I also said, there's really nobody ever even in here. That's all right. You know, hey, there's something for everyone. Okay, so this is the atrium area, and it's really, really lovely. It's kind of a double-decker up here. There's seating and things up there. They do a lot of their photo shoots right over in here. And behind me is the whole little sushi bar. There's the casino. We'll go in there in a minute, but it's really a nice little area. They have sort of like learn to dance and stuff like that out here. And you know, they've got the fancy glass elevators, and it goes all the way up. I mean, you can just see it goes way, way up there. It's really, really a beautiful little area. Although I haven't hung out here a whole lot. I did get a drink, but that's about it. So the casino is always a lot of fun. They have everything shut down right now. There's my mom's Game Kings. Yes, they have Keno Mom. So it's actually a really nice open layout for a casino. I was pleasantly surprised. They have lots of varieties of games, lots of new ones. There's the Buffalo. Oh my gosh. I won on this machine big one time, and so it sucked me in ever since. But the winning has not continued. So tons of tables here, lots of fun games. Like I said, pretty modern. They have tons of them. There's a whole little second section of tables over there. But there's a nice pathway that you walk right through. So some of the casinos on these ships are really difficult to navigate. You are sort of going in and out of machines the whole way, and that can make it a little bit difficult to just get around in general, because you're just constantly maneuvering and, you know, trying to get through, and places get crowded. And especially on this cruise, there's a shit ton of scooters. So I think that would be really, really difficult if they didn't have a better way to kind of, you know, get through. There's this cool little sports bar. I haven't been in here, so let's go check it out. Sweet. Okay, so it's just a sports bar. We're in Europe, so there's soccer, and I guess soccer season also, I am told, just started. So Oh, very cool. That's a really cool little wall. Oh, look at that. Look at that cool picture. Oh, you gotta love that, right? So yeah, this is, I mean, this is really cool. Actually, that's really neat how they have that set up here. So if you're a sports fan, this is a place where you can come in and just kind of hang out. Super cool. So this is the Red Frog Pub, and I have not been in here, but you can see it's kind of set up like a cool little tropical area. And look at the seating. That's another thing I wanted to point out to you guys is I think because of the larger group of retirees that is in this place, there is so much seating all over this ship. I mean, literally everywhere you go, it's like they've intentionally added extra seating. And I think that that's good, right? The people that are here need to be comfortable. And if that's their crowd, is older people, then, you know, they need to cater to that. So I think that's kind of cool. And even right here, here's the coffee bar, which I just get the free coffee that's up in the buffet, but you know, if you want something fancy, there you go. Okay, so this is pretty cool. This is some kind of little place called the Sunset Garden. And it looks like it's just a nice quiet place where you could come in here and read. And there's lovely trees and it's decorated really well. Lots of just little places to sit. Look at that. That's really cool how they have this bench along here, but they've also put little places where you can set a drink or something. This is really cool. I haven't been in here yet. There's a staircase that goes somewhere, probably up to the balcony where, well, I don't know. Actually don't. The cove. I don't know what the cove is. We might find out later. But this is just really neat. So that was fun. Okay, so this is one deck up. I just came around the other side of that Sunset Garden thing up there, and it looks like you can go out onto the deck here, and we will do that in a few minutes, but I want to show you some other stuff. So this is called the Raphael Lounge, and I have noticed definitely there's a whole Renaissance feel to this entire ship as far as the themes. There's the arcade, not going in there, hate that crap. Anyway, just a little lounge. Oh, how fun. Okay, and then look over here. I've seen this before, so I want to show you this. This is the piano bar, and it's really just a pretty little place. They even have the jams going on right now, but you can see there is the piano. There's lots of places to just sit and enjoy. You can stand here and have a drink. Really neat. They have all of these carvings. Hey, you can see me in there, huh? We'll show you over here then. They have all of these really cool little, I don't know what they are. Are they stone? Are they ivory? I'm not sure, but they have all these little carvings. And just a pretty little bar. Kind of fun. So this is the little shop area, and you can see they have, you know, your typical hats and bags and liquor and stuff like that. There's little snacks in there that you can get. You know, they have their Carnival paraphernalia that you can buy. On the other side of this hallway is, you know, the typical purses, handbags, perfumes, all the stuff that you can get duty free. This isn't, I mean, this is just a regular, you know, jewelry, everything. I really don't go in these shops a whole lot unless there's something that I really need. But there's a couple things that make this really interesting to me. One is, if you look in here, you will notice there's jackets. There's jackets everywhere. They've got hats, jackets, backpacks, all of this stuff that, you know, people would typically forget. Oh, Miles is gonna want one of those shirts. We just don't have any space in our backpacks for anything. But you don't normally see this kind of jackets and everything. So, okay, so we are now in the atrium, but we're on that upper level. So I had showed it to you before, and here we are again. That's the picture gallery over there, I guess, where you can go and find all of your pictures. Some of these Carnival ships, they still do the old style pictures where they take them, they put them all on the wall, you have to go hunt and peck through them, try to find ones that you like. They have these bins you put them in if you don't. And to me, this just is so wasteful. I really hate this style of getting your photos. On Royal Caribbean, it's all digitalized now, so you basically swipe your card, and once you've swiped your card, it brings up all of your pictures just digitally, and you can choose which ones that you like, and you can you know, decide what you want from there. So it just seems like, to me, that makes a lot more sense. But they don't do it that way here, and it just seems so wasteful, but it is what it is. We are walking into some kind of a lounge. I'm not exactly sure what this is. Haven't been here before. Okay, another piano bar. How fun. Looks like they do art auctions at some point for people who like that. But you know, just another just really nice lounge where you can come and kind of hang out, and I think that's really cool. Hi there, good morning. And so this is the upper level of the Normandy restaurant, and I'm gonna check and see if I can sneak in. They had a door open here earlier. They do. Okay, I'm gonna sneak in because I don't think we're supposed to be in here, but I want to show you the restaurant. It's so pretty. So the restaurant is really beautiful. This is the upper level, and I'm not sure what this is. I think this might be the My Time Dining folks, because we have a 6 p.m. dinner and we eat downstairs. But it's really beautiful. It's sort of got this long, sort of open thing, and it just goes right down in here. So pretty. Our table's kind of directly under where I'm standing and a little ways back, but this is the restaurant. And now I'm going to take you out onto the deck because I want to show you the most fascinating thing about the shops that I saw. Okay, it's super windy out here, so I don't know how well you can hear me, but it's not sun up yet, so it's a little bit dark, but basically that is the coast of Ireland, and we are going to be, I think, taking little tender ferries over to Dublin at about 8:30, so I would have to think we're getting close, but I don't think we're quite there yet. Anyway, that's pretty cool. Okay, so remember I told you that I wanted to show you the most fascinating thing about the shops on the Carnival Pride, and that is these little tables that they have in here. So even though you can clearly see in here this is a store, they're selling watches and all kinds of stuff, they have this little chair and tables set up right here, I guess so the geezer daddies have some place to sit and kind of chill while the mamas are shopping. Not sure, but it's in every window, and I just think it's so fascinating. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I'm really digging that table there, and if I didn't have a dining room table already, I would definitely be looking at that, but I just think that's a cute little setup there. They got these little chairs. Not sure my tush would fit in them, but they're pretty cool. But you can just see it's just like a place to chill while the mamas shop, and I just am really intrigued by that. I think it's pretty cool. Look, there's another one. So funny, isn't it? I've never seen chairs and tables in any kind of, okay, there's not one here, but this is the corner, but I just find that very fascinating. Okay, so here we are at the pool deck. So there's actually 3 pools on the Carnival Pride. There's this one, which this is our open air, just your standard pool. They have a giant hot tub here. Well, I don't know if giant's the right word, but it's pretty decent size. That was empty earlier, so looks like they've refilled it with water. Hopefully they've cleaned it. I hate that little crust that's always around it. But pretty cool, nice little pool. There's this really beautiful little shallow area, and I always find this really nice because if you want to get wet but you don't want to actually swim, you can just sort of sit there on the edge and enjoy it. So that's pretty cool. So this is one of the pools. Let me show you the next one. Okay, so this is the second pool area, and this one is Miles's favorite, and I will show you why. But first, let's take a look at the pool. Nice big pool. As you can see, lots of places to sit all the way around, and they have these really cool areas over here. Let me get a closer look for you. where you can just kind of chill and sit in here and have your drinks. And this is where the deck parties are and everything. And they have, that is that awesome little taquita place that they usually have. And there's the burger joint over there. They've got the bar and everything on this side. And the reason Miles loves it so much is this one has the retractable dome. So you can see, because the weather is not fantastic, they have it mostly covered. It's a little bit open over there just to let some fresh air in. But it's kind of nice because if the weather is really shitty, they can just close it off, and you know, there's still a nice place where people can swim. Now, normally, what I have seen with this kind of a retractable dome, this is usually in the Serenity deck, which is adults only. And that really kind of sucks when the weather's bad and you have little kids. Not that I care about their little kids, you know, I only care about mine. But, you know, still I can see as a parent why that would be kind of annoying to, you know, have the only pool that has any kind of protection from the weather is in the adults only area. So I get that, you know, I can totally see why people get annoyed with that. So let me take you into the Lido, aka buffet thing that they call the Mermaid Grill for some reason. So there's no actual food in here right now, but you can kind of see this is the omelet station. I think they change the sign in the evening and this part becomes like the China Walk or some crap like that. But this is your typical buffet. You have the seating here, which you can see with an extra wide walkway for all the wheelchairs, walkers, and scooters that I'm sure go through here pretty regularly. I am not a fan of the buffet, and I'll be honest with you, the Carnival buffet to me sucks. Like, it's leaps and bounds worse than the Royal Caribbean buffet. But it's a great place to stop and eat if you really want something. They have the coffee station, and this is where they keep all the desserts. This is pretty much the only place I go, and you know, they have some more food options that they'll be setting up over there. So this is pretty much what the buffet looks like. Not huge, but adequate, I suppose. Yes. Okay, so now we are going into the Serenity Lounge, and this is often places where they only want people who are 16 and older, but this particular ship says you have to be 21 and older. And that's really just so people can come here and just relax without all the horseplay and bullshit that sometimes comes along when younger people who are just being younger people. We were all there once, but you know, they horse around and stuff. So a lot of these Serenity decks do not have pools, but this is really cool. They have a nice little, it's a small pool. It's not very big, I'll be honest with you. They have the little handy spatula there to, if you need that. But they have these really cool little dome things that you can chill out in, and it looks like maybe those things sort of retract and go back, so that's kind of cool. We are getting close to sunrise, so they also have a smaller hot tub here that is not full at the moment. I guess they're getting to that one. It's pretty cool too. They have like a little place where you can kind of stick drinks. They usually don't have that, so that's pretty neat. Hey, y'all want to see the back of the ship? There we go. Sailing away. Which means that somewhere up over there is Ireland. And England is back over that way. Can't see any of that. But the Serenity deck is really a lovely place. Looks like they have lots of opportunities for shade here too, so that's really cool. All right.